Hello and welcome to this video on budget-friendly bonsai tips, especially if you're a beginner. Starting bonsai at this point in time, in terms of history anyway, is likely to be a very expensive and a rather serious decision on your part. But if you are looking to get into it, you can do so without having to sell your kidneys or similar in order to be able to afford not only a decent bonsai tree but all the tools and so on. A bonsai is the Japanese art of cultivating miniature trees, and the intention is to mimic the shape and scale of a full-size tree. Essentially, think of nature but miniature. It can be rewarding, but it's also a long-term hobby that will combine both horticulture, design, and patience, the last of these being what people often forget about. For beginners on a budget, the good news is you don't need to spend a fortune. Buy rare specimens or anything else. You can start relatively successfully with cheap if not free material. First of all, the budget-friendly ways to get your first tree. Avoid buying what is a finished bonsai tree, something that is essentially show-ready. These can be painfully expensive. Now, we're talking exorbitant amounts of money for that. Then you have less finished but not exhibition-ready trees that are cheaper but still very expensive, anywhere in the hundreds of dollars sometimes. What you can do instead is start cheap, with nursery stock or garden center plants. Buying young shrubs or trees from your local nursery, home improvement store, discount garden centers, or even your big box store if they happen to have a garden section. They'll often only be a few dollars, maybe $20 on the higher end. This is significantly cheaper, anywhere as little as 1 to 5% of the total price of a finished or semi-finished professional or a proper bonsai, let's call it. Good beginner choices are going to be your juniper, aim for Precumbrans or Chinensis. These are species that grow horizontally, not vertically, which is good for what you're going to be doing. You have Chinese elm, the ficus or indoor-friendly, particularly ficus species, boxwood or essentially your hedging plants, maples, and sometimes you can go for yamadori or yard foraging specimens. Essentially, do you know someone who's doing a complete renovation, landscaping endeavor in their yard, and they're looking to get rid of everything that's there? Let's see if they can't let you pick out a few specimens. If you're not going to do that, look for seedlings or small unwanted specimens in your yard that can be volunteered to become bonsai. Maybe parks and similar if you have the right permissions, or similar, or if they're invasive species, and so on. There are others, pine and maple and elm often work well as well, but, we're trying to make this reasonably short in terms of what is going to be budget-friendly, let's call it. If you don't want to do that, you can go for cuttings or air layering. This is anywhere between absolutely free and almost free, being incredibly cheap. Take your cuttings from suitable plants and root them in water or soil, and most species will root relatively easily. And then of course there are seeds. The cheapest option by far and away, with anywhere between $2 and $5 for them, but these take many years to get to even halfway decent size. So not exactly ideal, and more so if you grow a bonsai from a seed kit. And finally, you have online marketplaces, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, etc., where you might be able to find bonsai starters or pre-bonsai reasonably cheaply. And just make sure whatever you do go for, at least as a beginner, choose something that is hardy and fast-growing that will forgive the mistakes you will make. Not can make, not might make, or will make. There's no question about it. Ficus and Chinese elm are excellent in terms of being indoor and outdoor for beginners, and this is one reason why we suggest perhaps focus on those species instead. Next we have the essential tools and budget-friendly alternatives. You don't need a full professional kit, which can cost over $100 easily, and significantly more so if you start going into the more premium items that are out there. Start with simple pruning sharp household scissors. Maybe some nail clippers if you have to get into those really delicate areas, and some wire cutters from a hardware store. That's really all you're going to need. Later on, you want to upgrade to concave cutters, which, depending on where you buy, can be anywhere as little as $10. And then, in terms of wiring, buy aluminium or copper bonsai wire in bulk. It's the cheapest option you're going to have. You can go anywhere, whether it's Amazon, AliExpress, or wherever else it is, and you should be able to get a decent assortment for only a few dollars. And oftentimes shipping is free, so you still don't need to worry too much about that. You may not even need the wire if the bonsai you have is particularly small anyway. And then you have the soil and pot. You can use cheap plastic nursery pots initially. Of course, this is no good for display, but for growing and developing your bonsai, it's perfectly fine. If you are concerned about displaying it, you can always repurpose ceramic bowls by drilling drainage holes carefully. And if you really have to have a bonsai pot, you can buy them reasonably priced, $5 to $10 for small bonsai pots. Admittedly, these aren't the best quality or the nicest, but they do work. And of course, if you need other tools, old chopsticks for soil tamping, a spray bottle, a cheap sieve for soil mixing, and even a shallow tray for humidity, and you may even have most of these things already. The total toolkit, let's call it, should set you back somewhere between $20 and $30 if you're able to be resourceful and think outside the box a little bit. Next we have the actual soil mix, and budget bonsai soil can be a little more challenging, as bonsai soil needs to be well draining. You don't want to use regular potting mix exactly, simply because it stays too wet for too long. A simple budget mix by volume is 1 part cheap potting soil or garden soil, 1 part perlite or pumice, perlite's going to be the cheaper of these, and 1 part sharp sand or lava rock, aquarium gravel if you have it on hand already for whatever reason. And this should give you a quasi-effective mix that'll work well enough for now. You will inevitably want to upgrade in the near future, as this is not ideal. It's also true that many recipes will call for something like akadama, but the reality is akadama can be pricey and also not available everywhere. So it's common enough to see akadama substituted, like for example decomposed granite or baked clay cat litter, the non-clumping variety. But if you are going to be doing that, experiment on a small scale first and just check that it works for both the species you're going to be using and for what you actually need. In terms of basic care routines for beginners, well, you have watering. This is the big challenge for most. Too much water will kill your bonsai. Not enough water will kill your bonsai. It needs to be just enough. And if you get it wrong, you're going to have a very, very bad time with your bonsai. Check daily to make sure that the soil at the surface, that is when you shove your finger in just down to the first knuckle, is going to come out reasonably, let's say, dirty. Small clumps of granules of soil sticking to your finger. This tells you it's still a little bit wet. If your finger comes out completely clean, it's too dry. This is the easy check. It's not perfect, but it's convenient and it's free for most people, assuming you have fingers. If you don't have fingers, you may have to hire someone to do this for you. When you do water, however, water thoroughly until the water drains out the bottom of the bonsai pot, and then stop, and let the water continue draining out. You want to use a watering can with a fine rose or a spray bottle for small trees, and do this in the morning when it is least hot and least dry. This gives time for the water you've added to the pot to basically create a humidity dome around the bonsai, a small ecosystem where the local humidity is just that elevated slightly, allowing it to not need all the misting and other work you would otherwise put into it. But especially in high summer, you probably will need to mist occasionally. And make sure you give your bonsai plenty of light. You want to have it outdoors where it gets morning sun and is shaded in the afternoon. That simply avoids the worst of the heat and gives it enough light, if only ambient light, that it can do everything it has to do biologically. If it's going to be indoors, bright indirect light, a south-facing window, or cheap grow lights, which, depending on where you shop, these can be as little as $10 to $20. Again, if you're going to go with the cheapest option, the bright window. This is obvious. In terms of fertilizer, you can, to an extent, use diluted houseplant fertilizer. And typically 1:1:1 or 6:6:6, whatever it is, the ratio is the same, as long as it's all equivalent, or if you need to a fish emulsion or similar, at roughly half strength. You only want to give it to your bonsai during spring and summer, going sort of into autumn, but not quite. You really want to start tapering off in autumn, as the bonsai doesn't respond as well to excess fertilizer at that point in time. And, well, there are organic alternatives, compost tea, diluted seaweed extract, and so on. Obviously, if you're going for cheap, you're probably not as concerned about organic. Then you have pruning and shaping. Try and pinch out new growth regularly to encourage branching, the grow and chop method. This avoids the need for wiring. If you are going to aim for structural pruning, do this in the dormant season, typically late winter into very early spring. For wiring, well, again, try and maintain wiring to a minimum if you can, simply by cutting in the right times and places, but if you do wire, do it in the right way. Wrap the wire at a 45-degree angle, and then bend the branches using the wire rather than pushing the branches themselves. Otherwise you hear that very unfortunate and very uncomfortable snap sound. You'll need to remove the wire anywhere from 6 months to possibly up to 2 years, depending on the species, but check weekly throughout the entire time frame to avoid scarring. Also focus on the basic styles when you are doing this. Formal upright, informal upright, and a cascade. Hopefully by the time you get to the repotting stage, which should be between 1 and 3 years from your first repotting endeavour, or when you first get your bonsai, you should be a little more comfortable and set up to do what you need to do. But as you go forward, you'll need to root prune about 1/3 of the root mass. It depends on what species and a bunch of other variables, but that's the general rule. And of course you'll need to add new soil. This helps to keep the tree not only small, but ideally in the same pot from which you've just taken it out. Some, let's say, last tips or hacks, if you wish to consider them that. In terms of a humidity tray, use a shallow tray with pebbles and water. For winter protection, especially for outdoor trees in cold climates, use a cold frame or put them in the garage, or just pile up a whole bunch of mulch around the pot. In terms of pest control, you have neem oil, which is a cheap bottle that will last you forever, or insecticidal soap. But you can prevent a lot of issues just simply by providing good airflow and not overwatering. There are, of course, free resources, cheap to free up YouTube channels like ours, Bonsai Empire, Heron's Bonsai, Bonsai Mirai, free PDFs and forums, all those sorts of things. And local bonsai clubs often have cheap, if not free, workshops and typically do offer some modicum of mentorship at a minimum. If you need to, you can create your own turntable, which can be a useful tool by using a simple Lazy Susan or an old record player base. And of course, if you are going to start into bonsai, it's a good idea to get a small collection going, starting with many smaller trees, as at least in your first year or two, the attrition rate would, it would make the Soviets blush with jealousy. Natural selection also means that only the strongest, or at least most able to tolerate your mishandling, will survive. There are some common beginner mistakes we should touch on while we're at this. First of all, avoid overwatering and poor drainage, as this can lead to root rot. This should be a natural expansion of what we said earlier. Next is keeping indoor tropicals outside in winter, or vice versa, because it's essentially expecting them to survive in the very conditions they're just not able to survive in. Wiring too tightly or leaving wire on for too long, which inevitably leads to essentially the same issue. The wire cuts into the branch, it creates scarring and looks bad. Expecting quick results, because bonsai is not a quick endeavour. It can be. You can certainly get fast results if you have the right kind of specimen to start with, and you can do the right kind of work, but for the most part, it's not. It's a slow, steady process. And using the wrong soil or gift shop pots that simply dry out too fast. Think of something this way. If you were to be put into a coffin apartment of your own, how long could you tolerate living in there versus an actual house or even just a regular room inside a house? And so putting a bonsai in a pot the size of your thumb isn't going to survive very long. In terms of progression, you should plan somewhere in the ballpark of 1 to 3 months where you focus on keeping your bonsai alive and healthy. And make sure you learn how to water it correctly and what sort of light it needs. And then, over the 9 or so months after that, you're going to focus on things like basic pruning, wiring, and restyling, and you may need to repot during that time depending on exactly what's happening. By the start of the second year, you're really going to be getting into the development of the style and experimenting with more advanced techniques as you need them. This is how many, we wouldn't quite say beautiful, but certainly Appreciated bonsai start as a relatively cheap nursery plant or even a backyard find. The budget part is often more creative and educational than buying something, if it's not at a premium, certainly specially made, something almost completely finished. Doing it this way, you can start small, stay consistent, and be patient, learning how to create your bonsai. And if you do this correctly, you get a healthy, vigorously growing tree, which will be the foundation of a great bonsai. Or if you get it wrong, you have a dead stick in a pot. But as long as you are able to get at least the foundations right, you can have as much time and put in as much effort as you want styling it once the foundations have been accomplished. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And please do post any comments, questions, or suggestions you have below.